Good morning. You're listening to a very special episode of Drinking Socially, the official Untappd podcast.
Your weekly look into what's happening in the Untappd community and the world of beer. This episode is brought to you by Untappd and the Untappd store. You can use the coupon code PODCAST to get 20% off your next purchase. That's store.untappd.com. Coupon code is just podcast, the thing you're listening to now or maybe watching. You know what podcasts are, we all do. But just by typing in that word at checkout, you save some money, 20% off whatever you get. Coasters, hats, t-shirts, koozies, you name it. Well, that's not true. But the things we have, that's what you get discounts on. 20%, that's a lot. So go to store.untappd.com, stocking stuffers, turkey stuffers, whatever you want to use it for after you buy it. That's totally up to you. It's a free country. But save some money while you're shopping. Use the coupon code podcast. And other than that, follow us, like, subscribe, all those fun things. But John, what's cooking today? What are we all dressed up for?
Well, this is my normal outfit.
Got it.
I did catch a little bit of flack for saying that all holidays are made up. And in a recent episode for International Stout Day. But to make up for that, I want to invite everyone to this very special celebration. It's getting colder, it's getting darker, and the haze of summer is slowly being replaced by flavors like fruit and nuts and pine. The colder weather makes hot coffee taste better. Gives you an excuse to wear that scarf or vest that you looked good in last year, and a reason to stay inside because it's dark at 4 p.m., but also to crack open some of those beers that you've been sitting on for the last couple of months, or head out to your favorite local bottle shop and find some new takes on winter celebrations. Not everyone celebrates the arrival of cold weather like those in Antarctica, where Harrison has already let us know there are no bees. But even going back to ancient Romans who celebrated the festival of Saturnalia, which basically kind of became Christmas later on, but ended the planting season, treated everyone as equals, which seems like a really good idea. Or even more recently in Buffalo, where we celebrate by just putting our beer out on the porch during the colder months. Here at Untappd-land, we get pretty excited for the cold fronts and the darkness. We thrive on the juniper-flavored pails and the snowy barley wine. So what celebration do we have for this winter-themed episode? Well, Harrison, what are we so excited about today?
Yes, so Untappd made a big announcement this week. Untappd supporters is now Untappd Insiders. We saw a lot of questions right away and excitement come through online. So we wanted to sit down with Kenny Gould, the creative director of Next Glass and co-founder of Hop Culture. But you may also know him as the host of Next Exit, Untappd's brand new travel show. We want to learn more with him about what this change means and really kind of what's going on, the insiders. Let's take a listen. Hey, Kenny, how's it going?
Oh, Harrison, what a pleasure to see you.
So I know we're here to talk about the Untappd Insiders, but I can't help but notice that that's not your room behind you. You're not at home. What is going on? Where are you?
Oh, you mean my nondescript mustard wall back here, closely matching my shirt?
That's a good look.
I just got to a hotel.
A hotel?
Could be anywhere. Could be anywhere.
Would this have anything to do with maybe the next episode of Next Exit, our new travel show?
What's Next Exit, Harrison?
Oh my gosh. You're Next Exit, Kenny. You're the host of it. You know all about this. Hopefully you guys listening at home do too, but if you don't, get over to our YouTube. You got to see what Kenny's doing, traveling around Pittsburgh, and we're asking everybody where are we going next. So I'm wondering if Kenny already knows.
No.
Okay.
No, I do. I know where we're going next. But we've gotten some great responses. A lot of, I think we have a couple hundred comments on that video. If you haven't checked it out, you can find it. Go to the Untappd channel, search Next Exit. Now that you say that, I do know what you were talking about. I thought you said next Blexit before, and I had no idea what that was.
No,
but,
exit.
Next Exit is the name of the show. And yeah, interesting places, cool people, and cold beer. It's like a beer travel show. It's a blast.
That's it.
I can't tell you where we're going next, but we're still figuring out the whole rest of the season. So check it out and leave a comment and let us know what cities we should visit, whether they're in the States or around the world.
Yeah.
Because I want to do some international travel.
A lot of beer out there. I saw a lot of people talking about Asheville. I saw people talking about Chicago and all the cool places. So
Cincinnati got like huge, big supporters for Cincinnati.
Love
A
it.
lot of Belgium, a lot of the Netherlands, a lot of cool people there. Sweden got one. Ireland, thank you. So yeah, I'm excited.
That'd be great. I hear Gothenburg has an amazing craft beer scene, truly. So
somebody said that. More than one person said that.
Yeah. Ooh. All right. Well, that's all right.
Home of the alt beer? Is that home of the alt beer?
Alt beer would be Dusseldorf. Close-ish.
Oh, Dusseldorf. Which somebody also said. Yes. Multiple people said Gothenburg. Is that how it's pronounced? Gothenburg?
Yeah, that's how we Gothenburg. Yeah, there's a silent letter in there. One of them. It's probably pronounced completely differently in Sweden, but
I got my Gothenburgs and my Dusseldorfs mixed up.
It happens
all the time.
It happens all the time. You're a traveling man now. You got the globe in your mind. It's forgivable. But we can talk about this all day, but I feel like we're going to have plenty of time to talk to you about Next Class in the future as we continue to take over the world with it. Today, we're going to talk about Untappd Insiders. So Untappd supporters, now it's Untappd Insiders. What does this mean? This is so exciting.
Yes, it is really exciting. Look, when the Untappd supporters program started, for those who don't know, it's the paid version of the Untappd app. Get you some cool upgrades and perks. That started years ago, and that was back when it was just Greg Evola in a garage, and it was called the supporters program because it was literally supporting the app. At this point in 2021, we are a functioning company. We have employees. Some of them have medical plans. Whoa. We have benefits. It's cool. We work. And so we thought that maybe supporters didn't accurately reflect what was going on. And so we actually sent out a couple different surveys to current supporters and got some input on the name change, in addition to what other perks, people who have been supporting us for years and years might want as part of the program. We got some great feedback, and ultimately Untappd Insiders was the name that took the cake. So it's not the same program. It's actually an upgraded program. So there's some other features we've added into it along with the name change. But that's
big.
That's big. It's big. I'm excited. We're all excited.
I know. And I forever, when I learned about what a supporter was, it was because I saw somebody checking in an Untappd next to me. I was rating just 4s and 5s, and they were doing the 4.9 and the 3.2 ratings. And I was like, how do you do that? Told me about the supporter program. So for a lot of people, that's like kind of what they know it as. You get a little bit of flair on your profile. You can rate more accurately. But as you just said, really, that's just the beginning now. Now there's so much more. You tell me, there's badges, there's secret doors. What's going on?
Yeah. So we like I said, we solicited some good feedback from our current supporters. Thousands of people submitted to us, and we asked people, other than the name change, what they might want, what they might look for in the program. And so one of the biggest things we heard was some type of annual gift or annual collectible. And so for people, we have two different plans. The monthly plan, where you just pay month to month. If you do an annual plan, you get a discount, versus paying month to month, but you also get the annual collectible magnet. Yeah, so every insider gets the yearly insider badge. We have a badge you get if you are an insider. It's the only way you can get it, that particular badge. But then we take that badge and we make it into a magnet, ostensibly for your beer fridge.
Wow.
And it's just a little exclusive swag for people who are on the annual plan. I'm super excited because one of the coolest things that I get to do day to day is work with awesome artists from all over the world. And so for 2022, to design our 2022 Insiders badge and also our 2022 Insider magnet, I had my buddy Dean McKeever, who you might know as Keever, the artist for Treehouse Brewing. He also does art for Vitamin C. He's just a rad dude. A couple other breweries and just awesome projects. So we had him do the Insider magnet, and then in each subsequent year, we'll get a different, well-known beer artist to design the magnet and badge for us. So I'm stoked about it.
That's amazing to have a physical badge that is a magnet for your beer fridge. But
why not?
That alone got me so excited, and the fact that it's designed by Treehouse, Vitamin C, like the list, and
he's a legend.
It's amazing.
Yeah. But, the other big perk we have, there's a couple others, but the one I'm most excited about is that we now have a secret store. This will be accessible only to insiders. It'll be there'll be a portal for it on the regular Untappd store that will only be accessible by Untappd insiders. And within that store, we will be giving people first look at some of our new merch. We'll be doing some exclusive merch. We have Dean designing a couple different pieces for us. And something I'm super excited about as well.
I can't wait. I know I need more t-shirts. If you watch this on YouTube, you're hopefully laughing right now because I'm stocking up on them for each episode, but that's good to know that I'll have a new store to go shopping at.
This one looks new. I haven't seen this one yet.
I think it's only been on once before. Maybe. Okay. It's tough. It's tough to tell. I try not to do recycling, but too many t-shirts out there. Something else that I really love about this that comes with, so everyone on Untappd, you've used Untappd for a while. You know about the year in beer, the kind of end of year. It's coming up. But the end of year, kind of look back at your data, your check-ins, what you do. What you may not know, though, is as a supporter and now as an insider, you can do that all year. You can kind of look and see where you're checking in and what you're checking in and look at it at a much higher level. There's a map that shows you where you've been. So that's a big part of this, too, right? It's just kind of like that beer journey you're on Untappd. You need to experience it in like a brand new way and look at kind of where you've been, what you've learned, what you've consumed, and like a snapshot whenever you like. You don't have to wait till the end of the year each year now.
Yeah, that's a great call out. I think for our stat junkies, for our people who love collecting badges, for our people who love merch, really just a lot of different profiles of Untappd user. We tried to create a program that would appeal to all of them. And it's definitely a work in progress as well. So this is sort of the first iteration on a renewal or a refresh, we'll say. But it's something that we're paying attention to and just want to continue improving as a way to thank the people that have supported us for years and the people that continue to participate in that program.
Love it. Love it. And love that the feedback is wanted. We want to know, what you guys want and what this is going to look like. You can help shape the future of Untappd Insiders, which is also really cool and exciting and not something you see every day. All right. So this is great. How can everyone listening join? Like, what do we have to do? How is this? What's next? Let's make this happen.
Okay, let's do it. We put out an announcement on Instagram at Untappd, on all social. You can check out my Instagram at HopCultureKen.
Sure.
I'm going to be putting an announcement up shortly, and you can just Google it. I think by the time this episode comes out, it will be live. So
the Google help.
Untappd Insiders with an S program. The program is the Insiders program, and if you belong to it, you are an insider without the S. And then the URL, you have the URL there, don't you?
It's just insiders.untappd.com. If you want to jump on and skip the Goog, you can head right there. Or skip web browsers entirely. You can do an in-app purchase if you have an iPhone through the Apple Store. So that's pretty cool, too. And so it's really easy to get. So easy, it's really easy to gift it, too. So if you already have it, or you got a buddy who's like, I love beer, just getting into it, maybe they're kind of at that point of their beer journey where it's maybe it can become a crazy hobby and they have now shoe boxes full of beer, or maybe they're not quite there yet, but they're about to be. This is it. This is the time to gift them something pretty cool, and it's easy to do that too, right?
Yes. On that page that you so kindly read us the URL for, there is the option to gift to a friend, and with the holidays coming up, it's super cool because for less than the cost of a craft beer a month, you don't have to wait on any of the supply chain madness. Just gift it digitally, and it makes a great stocking stuffer. I guess it's non-tangible, but it's really nice, and people will be appreciative.
That's right, a digital stocking or something.
Exactly, yeah, an NFT stocking.
That's it. Ooh, maybe patent pending. Can we do that? I think that's the point. You can't, or maybe you can. I don't know. I don't understand. But one thing's for sure, this is so cool. As someone who's used Untappd forever, I'm just excited that being an insider now does even more than it used to. So, and I can't wait for my magnets. That's going to be. I got a spot for it. I'm leaving a circle-shaped place on my beer fridge where it'll live in between all the other stickers. I'm planning ahead, which I rarely do. So clearly, this is a big deal. If I'm thinking about it, it's huge. It's huge. Thank you, Kenny, for stopping by to tell us more about it, and enjoy your secret trip to a secret place doing secret things.
Thank you, Harrison. That's so nice of you to say. Have a great night.
You as well.
I am a sucker for magnets.
I know you are, John. One of the many things, it's easy to get you in the magnet game. It's easy to smooth anything over with just a new magnet for John. Right. Very sticky part of your personality. I love them too, but that one's sweet. A physical badge. I don't have to worry about losing because it sticks to my fridge, which is one of the most important things that I own. We all own, since where the beer lives, and the food, but the beer. So there's so much to get excited about. Badges are one of them, and I know we're going to have to wait a little bit to unlock this new Insiders badge, but we do not have to wait to unlock the Winter Wonderland badge much longer. So that's the badge we're going to be featuring today. And if you're not familiar, inside Untappd, the description reads, "It's cold outside. Warm up with winter beers." Easy enough. Check into beers with a winter theme, meaning they have winter in the title or style to unlock this badge. So kind of sounds simple enough, but this is one of those badges that there's like a lot of mystery around. It's not just a beer does it, or a brewery does it, or a certain venue does it. It's very similar to that Summer Fun badge we did back in June, episode 22 this year. But John, you know a little more about this. You did some research, but it's tough to find the official what unlocks this beer, and that's kind of by design. It's fun. So what did you know? You know a bit more than most.
Yeah, well, I guess I'm inclined to follow any problems or things that I can't solve. So Untappd gives you a little clue if you're fortunate enough to unlock this badge. Maybe you drank some winter warmers. But there's hard badges on Untappd, like Wheel Styles, New Brew Thursday. They're just hard in dedication to unlock. And then there's easy ones, like you drank an IPA. Easy. You'll max that out in one long summer. But this one is kind of easy and also kind of hard. You need to rely on the brewers mainly in the titles of the beer. So if you're drinking a beer and the name of the beer is Christmas beer or snow beer, maybe snow lager, or Santa Claus from Westbrook. So the keywords that I've been able to determine will help you unlock this badge are Christmas, snow, Santa, holiday, and celebration. And this badge takes it a little bit step further. A couple of years ago, Untappd actually updated it to include some terms from other parts of the world. In a blog post, they talked about including Śnieg, Balwin, and Koink, which are Polish terms for snow, snowman, and Christmas tree. So if you see those words in a beer and you can understand Polish, or you just the beer sounds good, that'll also help you level up this badge, even if you're drinking it in July.
Important, right? So it's all the beer, the name, the style, and a lot of play here, much like the Summer Fun badge, where that one really just had to have the word summer in the beer's name. So I love these kind of badges. They're different. They rely on you kind of paying attention as a user to more than you normally would need to unlock a badge, and makes it a bit more of a hunt and a bit more fun. So today, to level the thing up, John, we're going to be drinking something pretty exciting. We keep talking about it. What is it? What do we have today? What's the beer?
The longer that I wait, the longer that Harrison waits. I know. This is a really special episode because normally this beer is being consumed by Harrison as he waits in the checkout aisle of the first place that gets it on the shelf.
That's right.
So we're featuring one of Harrison and my longtime favorites from Sierra Nevada, Celebration Fresh Hop IPA.
Look at that.
If you live anywhere, especially in the U.S., this is probably on a shelf right now. It's available from Sierra Nevada from October to December, or when it sells out. It's an American IPA, comes in at 6.8%, 65 IBUs. It's been checked in over 350,000 times on Untappd and holds an average rating of 3.73. Now, Sierra Nevada gives us a little story about the long, cold nights of winter are a little brighter with this Celebration Ale, which is kind of become a tradition at the brewery. As I understand, this is one of the brewery's favorite beers to make as well. What they do is they rush up to the Pacific Northwest, closer to where Sierra Nevada is originally from. Of course, now they're in North Carolina as well with the brewery, but they rush up to Pacific Northwest, grab the fresh hops, hand pick, like, what are the best ones that we're going to use, bring them back to the brewery, and throw them into the beer with caramelized malt, two-row pale. The hops, we're looking at Cascade, Centennial, and Chinook, then a little ale yeast and water, and you've got something that has infected Harrison's mind for the last, 15 years or something. For 3/4 of the year, he's talking about it, and the rest of the year, he's talking about it while drinking it. How's that one hitting you as you get into your first gigantic sip?
Man, yeah, it's mostly gone. Yeah, so this is great. I look forward to this beer for a lot of reasons, but really, if we can sum it up in one word, it's pine. And maybe 2 words is bitter pine. Like, these are old school, as you would call it. Really, mostly like high alpha acid hops, Chinook especially, Centennial as well. Cascade, no joke. But these hops that punch some bitterness into you, like a classic West Coast IPA. The nice little wrinkle is, again, it's dry hopped. It's a fresh hop pale. So they're using this year's harvest, some really new hops in this, which punches just a little bit different. But it's a big old pine, punch in the face, and it's great. And I look at Untappd all the time, obviously, but this year, as soon as I saw check-ins for this beer, I was reading them going, how is it this year? How is it this year? Because if you know about this beer, that's what you're saying in your check-in is, yep, this year is great. And I saw that right at the top, and I was like, whoo, we're good. It's great, which obviously you expect from Sierra Nevada. But it's still something I always do. If people are like, it's the best in 10 years or what, that's what I'm hoping for each time. It's like, it's better than it's ever been. So obviously that's extremely relative and subjective. But it was excited to see great check-ins, people loving it before I could clamor out and get it. And here it is, as remembered, just a big old piney punch in the face.
Couldn't agree more. After my first sip, it's rated at 65 IBUs, which we all know are pretty much fake. But the bitterness, maybe it's a mixture of the bitterness and like the resiny pine flavor. Yeah. This isn't bringing any of those like mango, fruity, citrus, hazy flavors that you get from most IPAs nowadays, which is why I think it matches up so well to like welcoming the colder weather. Like this this beer will stand up and punch you in the face if you look away from it. It's bringing some bitter, piney deliciousness with it. And I love you for mentioning that it's different every year too. So it's like, not only are we victim of the hops as nature gives them to us, but in this case, we don't even, Sierra Nevada doesn't have the option to like pivot and adjust and go grab some different cryo hops to make up for it or anything. This is made with 100% fresh or wet hop. What does that even mean, Harrison?
Yeah, it can mean a lot of things. There's tons of threads online if you want to get lost into the wet hop, fresh hop debate. But essentially, today, breweries are going a little more uniform, wet, kind of undried hops. They're referring to those as fresh hops, or label them as like fresh hopped beers if they're using wet, unkilned hops. It's always good. But traditionally, a fresh hopped beer is one that's brewed like within 24 hours of it being picked. So I don't know if Sierra Nevada is doing this, truthfully. I do know that their geolocation is on a hop farm, so if anybody could do it, Sierra Nevada could. But I believe them, obviously to their word. They're calling this a fresh hop IPA. They are getting the freshest hops and dumping them right in, whether that's a day or about. I don't know. I'd love to find out and talk to them about it a little bit more, but these are definitely, again, they're punchy, they're piney. It's almost like you're walking through the woods and then a dark creature approaches you and it's the Yeti and he punches you in the face and you fall flat in the snow. That's what this would smell like. Just a piney knock to the head in the dark, snowy wood. But which is what I wanted and what I look forward to every year. But yeah, it's that fresh hop IPA. They just hit different. And as we all know, hopefully by now, that Sierra Nevada loves whole cone hops. So that is going to do a lot of things. We'll actually talk about a cool beer they make with this beer called Celebration Drippings in a bit that really is only possible if you use whole cone hops. But you can get more of the oils in there. It can become more resiny, especially if you have hops like Centennial and Chinook as well. So there's a lot of things, the freshness of the hops, the kind of hops, whole cone, playing into this big punchy pine smack that I'm happy for and wait for every year. And every year it's great. And I should note before you do, John, it's in cans, I think for like the second time ever, which is pretty cool as well. So love that. Beautiful artwork. Cozy little cabin there, safe from the Yeti punch in the face for now until they open up the can in their fridge and surprise, no one's safe. And why would you want to be?
True. If this beer is a Yeti punch, then I hope I'm an opponent of Rocky in any movie. But either way, getting into this as an IPA, it's still hard for me to reconcile. Of all the IPAs I drank, even the West Coast IPAs that I drank over this last year, this one tastes more, or reminds me more of the flavor I got when I was first getting into IPAs. And some of that was inexperience, and some of it was just they were different back then. But As you point out, Cascade, Centennial, Chinook. Last season, you were going through the sea hops.
Yes.
This is made with old school ingredients. If we can say that the late 90s, early 2000s are old school now, I think we can. I'm old.
I think we can. We're doing it. We did it. But I mean, yeah, it is a magical time at the brewery for sure. It's a bummer it's a seasonal, but I get it. It really couldn't be all year if it's going to be a fresh hop IPA. And I do think it's worth noting that, right, like the malt side of this is great too. There is a fantastic classic caramel note to it, very similar to a lot of other Sierra Nevada beers where you're kind of recognizing the like house malts they're using, things like that. It kind of has that traditional Sierra Nevada malt note, that slight little quick biscuit note, but this is a hoppy beer. You love hops and you like the bitter side of hops. This is probably one of your favorite beers too. So just happy it's here. I need to upgrade my swag too. Sierra Nevada has tons of, you get celebration socks and cups and candles and
nice,
all kinds of stuff. I'm getting ahead of us. We'll talk more about this probably in a bit, but it's back, John. It's gonna be tough to not drink more than one of these tonight.
Yeah, I mean, as a mature, responsible grown-up with a Rush poster behind him and some Christmas lights, it's. I think drinking 2 would be okay.
Good. I have permission. And you saw some cool stuff there. Yeah, you saw some cool stuff they're doing, right? Sierra Nevada with this. I mean, they're always, we're never enough. We're always doing more. So what did you find with this beer?
Like Sierra, one thing that I'll give a lot of credit to Sierra Nevada. One we were just talking about before we started recording on the top of the can. Family owned, operated, and argued over. Harrison was trying to pinpoint the year that started getting placed on the can, sometime around their 40th anniversary.
Right.
40th anniversary. They're 40 years old. Family owned. I mean, Sierra Nevada has done a lot of great things, not just for beer, but for the communities that they're around. And their website is not just a resource for beer information, but also cooking information. So if your significant other is following like food, Pinterest, and Instagram, you guys could go to Sierra Nevada and one of you could be in love with all the cool food and the other could be in love with all the cool beer. And hopefully by the end of it, you'd be in love with each other. But that was a weird introduction. But on Sierra Nevada's website, they have a bunch of celebration themed recipes. And when you show up for your next Christmas party or office themed Christmas party or whatever, and you're like, man, I don't know what to bring. I'll just bring some celebration and I'll drink it myself and maybe share one with another stranger. Do that. But the recipe that I gravitated towards on their website was Sierra Nevada Celebration IPA popcorn. And the reason I gravitated towards it is because they give you a 30-minute recipe. It's labeled as easy, so I'm inclined to follow that one and do it without having to think much. It's popcorn with the IPA syrup drizzled on it. And the key part here is that the recipe only calls for half a cup of Celebration IPA, which means you have 8 ounces left in your can. So you're preparing for the party and you're also starting to drink a little earlier. I don't know if that was done intentionally or not. I don't know if Harrison's ever had Celebration popcorn or just had popcorn while drinking Celebration. And I think we would count that. But their website has a wealth of resource.
I know. I love it. And if you're looking for something slightly more advanced, they have a Celebration IPA stuffed turkey breast too. So Turkey Day is coming up. If you're in the States, maybe it just got even better for you and the Celebration fan. At least an excuse to, which you don't need on Thanksgiving, to crack open a beer earlier and say, let's just throw this in turkey.
Yeah.
Half
10 in the morning, John. I'm cooking.
Right. A lot of turkeys in this house. I'm going to start opening the beers now. Oh, man. I know. That's, but this is, I mean, again, so cool. They've been doing this for so long, doing it the right way. I'm just happy. Happy it's back. Happy it's back. Get ready. Follow me on Untappd for a lot of celebration check-ins from now until it's gone. But that's just, as is tradition, as someone smarter than me said. And speaking of, okay, so let's zoom out a little bit. So we're talking about this beer, but we're also talking about the Winter Wonderland badge. So this is a really cool badge. Celebration plays a big part in it. We spoke a little bit earlier, John did, about what unlocks it, but I want to talk more about kind of who's unlocked it and what they're using, what they're drinking to unlock it. And maybe through that, we can all learn a little bit more about some beers that unlock this bad boy that maybe you're not expecting. But let's start. So far, total badge unlocks 710,000 plus. So pretty good. And that'll grow, of course, as we're jumping into the Winter Wonderland season. Number one, though, do you have a guess, John? Thinking about winter beers, don't overthink, but what might be at the top here? Classic.
Can I say Winter Guinness?
No.
Good
guess. Smart, playing the odds there.
There was
Guinness.
a Winter Guinness.
I don't. Be at the top.
It's. I won't know the name of it, but but if you'd give me half credit, I would say a Sam Adams winter beer.
Right.
That would be my guess.
Smart. And yeah, you're right. A good answer, a political answer or whatever, if that means anything. But yeah, you're right. I'll give you, partial credit, 10 points to Gryffindor, whatever you want. Their winter lager, it's actually the retired version. So 2 years ago, I think, maybe last year, they revamped the winter lager recipe. It's really a different beer now. But forever, that was one of those great Sam Adams seasonals that similar Celebration, bigger, darker, kind of box style beer that was like, ooh, yep, it's cold out. Yep, one winter lager down, and I don't really care about that within reason. So that is the number one by a lot. 21,000 of those unlocks came from Sam Adams Winter Lager. Again, the kind of original version of the beer. But number two is none other than Celebration. We've got it. Close enough.
There we go. It takes a while to get it on the camera, but
all right.
Celebration number two?
Yes, so Celebration is number two, which makes me happy. Followed by another amazing beer, the Great Lakes Brewing Company's Christmas Ale, which is out. That's one of my favorite events that any brewery does, right up there with Oberon Day at Bell's. Is the day they Great Lakes taps Christmas Ale, which happened about a couple weeks ago now. So that's at number three. Then you have Shiner's Holiday Cheer, White Christmas from Sam Adams, Winter White Bells. Then you have Sam Adams' Old Fezziwig Ale, a classic that we all, hopefully you guys all saw this. It's coming back. So we know. We'll see what we can do with that. Then Delirium Noel, which is another beer that doesn't get enough love. There's a lot of beer out here, John, that I want to drink this year, but I don't know if we have enough days. Anyway, the Christmas Ale from St. Bernardus, which is an amazing one, and then Chouf from Brasserie de Chouf, which another one, if you know, it's an amazing Belgian beer for this time of year. So killer top 10.
That's an awesome lineup.
Right? I mean, it really is. All over the world. Classic breweries, new breweries, craft breweries, more widely distributed craft breweries. And really kind of speaks to this badge and how it can be unlocked a bunch of different ways. And with that, you get a lot of cool beers to unlock it. So let's talk about that. How are we doing, John? How are you in the Winter Wonderland land? How are you? What do you got?
I think I'm doing okay. I'm not surprised that Sam Adams pretty much owned that segment.
Yeah.
But so I don't want to derail, but did you see that they sent hops into outer space?
I did.
I thought that was a fake April Fool's Day. I thought that was something that you did.
Right.
I was
amazing
to maybe eventually drink some space beer. But
I know that was a cool idea. A lot of people were, kind of saying, "Oh, marketing, blah blah blah." Nah, they actually sent hops into space. That's pretty awesome. And I tried to.
We're gonna need beer up there,
right? I mean, we need to know they're doing important work. You're right, John. You're right. This is important work. We need to know if moon hops or more or less bitter. That's just going to be a reality, folks.
style IPAs. The Martian would have been a totally different movie. So
yeah, no more potatoes, just hops. What are you doing there? Why didn't he make it? Well, he started growing hops first instead of potatoes. Mistake. But that's what I would do. The Martian would be a very short movie if I was the guy stuck up there. I don't think they let me near a rocket ship, though. Rockets, sure, but in someone's backyard in the middle of the summer, nothing more expensive than that. But yeah, this I hear you.
Okay, so until it becomes more widely available, we'll come back down to earth for the Winter Wonderland badge. I checked on Untappd. I'm at level 4, and there's 2 check-ins that I want to highlight. The beer that I would like to drink again and level this up would be Sam Smith's Winter Welcome. I thought that was an amazing, and it has winter in the name, but I think it's also classified as a winter warmer style. So I feel like I should have gotten 2 points towards the badge for that one. But the one I'm most proud of comes from Rotunda in Pennsylvania. Their grape bubblegum snow cone. And it helped me unlock this badge because of snow and snow cone. And I felt like I snuck that one in. So I was really proud of taking away the Winter Wonderland on a snow cone. Little asterisk check-in point there for me. What about you, Harrison?
You did it. So I'm also sitting at level 4. Huzzah!
Nice. We're twins on this.
Yeah, you're right. We are twins. This won't help me. Just kidding. I've already checked in Celebration, obviously, a zillion times. But a couple of the ones I'm happy about and had some great memories of looking at this list was first Prairie's Christmas Bomb, which I think we both had that. I remember correctly, the end of last year's podcast.
I think it was the end of, we were doing stuff on Twitter. We were doing 20 beers for the holiday. That was a good.
A lot of beers, a lot of memories. Well, Twitter has the memories. We created them. But that beer was awesome. Prairie's so cool. And that's one that changes every year, too. Christmas Bomb is one of those beers where sometimes it's more like, spices. Sometimes it's more chocolate, different spices, all that stuff. So that was fun. First unlock, though, was a beer called Festivity Ale from Goose Island, which is one of their winter ales back in November of 2014. So that was cool to jump all the way back there and see where this journey began. And my check-in was, I think, something along the lines of like tons of flavor, really cool. So happy about that. But this is, again, it's a cool badge, and it's go out there, try to earn it. If you find a really cool beer that unlocks it, it's surprising, like John's snow cone experience, let us know. Tag us in that check-in, all those fun things, and we'll be able to travel over there and see what you got, see what beer you found. Speaking of traveling, let's do some non-virtual travel. I guess it's actually still will be virtual, but I'll call it regular. And John, take us away to this week's verified venue. Where are we going?
Yeah, so this week we're going to Western North Carolina. Everybody might be thinking of Asheville, and you're close, but we're going to head a little bit outside of Asheville, and we're going to, I guess technically Mills River would be the name of the town. Yeah. We're getting a little bit closer. We're going to visit Sierra Nevada, their brewery in North Carolina. Of course, they have one in Chico, California still. This is their second large brewery over here on the East Coast. And we chose to feature this venue on Untappd because if there's a place you can go visit, Sierra Nevada and Mills River should be on that list. It's like visiting Willy Wonka's beer factory without needing a golden ticket. There's not only the food that we talked about before, but you also have beers from Sierra Nevada that you just can't get elsewhere. They've done things like a 12% fest beer. There's their beer camp series, which Harrison probably knows more about than me, but it's like a whole bunch of different kind of one-off smaller batch beers that you may only be able to find in the tap room. And also this location is kind of nestled in the mountains. So if you're going out there around this time of year, it's like it's cold enough where you can wear a vest and a sweater. You can see some of the leaves change. You can drink hot chocolate in the morning or a bourbon barrel stout in the morning if you want to. Just drink it out of the same coffee cup that you normally would have. I don't know if you've ever been there or not, Harrison, but I sent you over their menu to check out. Did you see anything cool on there that piqued your interest? I know you saw the drippings, right? But anything else you saw that caught your eye?
Let's start with the drippings, but there were a couple other things. So first up, so the drippings themselves, this is celebration drippings I'm talking about. Essentially what they're doing is they're taking the hop bags, so like all those whole cone hops that they use in celebration, they're putting them in hop bags. When they're done with them, they pull them out, and they're capturing the beer that those whole cone hops, they kind of like work like a sponge, drips out, but releases after it's out of the actual tank. And they're, I don't know how they're doing this, like what happens next. I just imagine a man with a funnel into a keg. That's not what's happening. Definitely not. It's much more sanitary. Probably goes into a vessel. They probably carbonate it. They probably keg it later. Like, you know, the actual things are happening here, not some cartoon fantasy land. But this was amazing. And this just sounds wild, like a distilled, intenser version of celebration, which, as we've already been saying, is so just hopped up and bitter and amazing. So that right away got me pretty excited. And as happens most times we get to this part of the show, we're talking about food usually. Their food menu, I mean, dare I say it matches the beer, but I mean, duck fat fries, that alone, I mean, you had me at duck fat fries. I think Meg Ryan said that in a movie once with Tom Hanks, and that was the final scene. Everyone was happy. That's amazing. Itself, but they have a half-pound of pretzel and beer cheese. They're doing cheese plates. They're doing tons of burgers. They have wood-fired pizza. I mean, it's everything. And if you got a bit of a sweet tooth, a lot here, but their Black Forest cake, that sounded unreal. It has a cherry narwhal sauce. Oh, come on. They take narwhal, they're stout. They're doing cherry narwhal sauce on top of the Black Forest cake. Get out of here. It really is, as John said, Willy Wonka down to the crazy hat and the chocolate river almost, except it's a cake and you don't have to move to get into it. You just sit and they bring it to you, which is the probably best thing ever. Yeah. I mean, I know, but just if you've ever been, you need to go. It's a beautiful location. It's kind of awe-inspiring how big it is, and history, all that stuff is easy to get sucked into it, the greatness and the amazingness of it. But yeah, and again, they're obviously brewing tons of cool stuff right there. They have a cold IPA right now on tap. They have celebration drippings, a lot of one-offs, a blonde ale that looked interesting to me because I love crushing those things. But tons to love Sierra Nevada, period. But their locations are always going to have more than you find in the stores. So if you haven't been, Chico, the Torpedo Room near San Francisco is another one. Mills River in North Carolina. Go check it out. It rocks. And speaking of things that rock, John, let's jump now to more beer. What was the best one you had this week? Take me on another journey.
Well, we won't have to. Well, I guess we'll probably actually have to travel as far if it's me and you traveling non-virtually. But
right,
Leon. Not The Professional, which was a great movie, but Leon, the Russian Imperial Stout from Harrison's Tired Hands at Neshaminy Creek Brewing Company. I don't actually sit there and mash in anymore, but you brought me a couple of cans of that beer from a while ago, and I cracked one open. On the can, they say that they use a house-made marshmallow fluff. That's my review. I mean, I've never made a house-made marshmallow fluff. Did you ever get to bring any of that stuff home and make sandwiches with it, or did you just hate showing up on those days?
We didn't. It was, I know, much like the reality of the world, you never want to see how the sausage is made, so to speak, where it's just a mess of a brew day when you're making Leon. It's fluff and chocolate. You're melting stuff down on a bunch of burners. You got to throw it in the mash tun or in the brew kettle. Someone's got to make sure it doesn't stick to the bottom and just burn and become horrible and gross. Like, a lot of work goes into that beer on the brewer's side. And I mean, the whole entire team, not to mention, it's a huge mash bill. It's a boozy beer. So you're exhausted from manually mashing in, which is what we did. There were no metal rakes and robots. You were doing it yourself with a million-year-old wooden paddle. Then you also had to go and like basically become Martha Stewart, make a bunch of desserts and chuck that into the beer too. So it was a crazy day. It was all hands on deck whenever we brewed it. It was the busiest, probably easily the busiest beer we ever made. And again, only do it a few brews a year in the winter months and barrel age a bunch of it. But glad you got to have some. It's been a while, but I have like flashback memories of those brew days where it was just kind of controlled chaos, but we always made it through and got to make something delicious. So I'm glad got to try some.
Yeah, delicious. And I didn't mean to steal the set, but knowing that you were part of that, thanks for cluing me in on a little bit of the backstory. Yeah. What was your best beer of the last week, Harrison?
Yeah, so total opposite of a big old fluffy stout. I enjoyed a beer called 1 Year in Wilson from Casita Brewing Company. We've talked about a lot here. It was a pub ale, and it's their anniversary beer. So they've been brewing for a couple of years, but only been in their permanent location, Wilson, North Carolina, hence the name 1 Year in Wilson, for a year. So to celebrate that, wow. They had a cool party, made a lot of beer. One of them was their official anniversary beer. This one, a pub ale, but it had Centennial and Cascade in it. So not East Kent Golding, not Fuggle. It's an American take on it, which they do so well, taking something traditional and saying, let's see what we can do. And they took it to the next level, and they nitrogenated it before they canned it. But it's like an old school nitro can, so you're not popping like a little nitro widget in there, and it's carbonating itself. On the can, it says, shake 3 times, shake the beer can, and then pour it hard. It's your job to get the nitro actually out of that beer and move it along. So I did, shook it, cracked it, poured it straight over the glass, shoot to the bottom, and it was perfect. It was cascading. It looked like the best pub ale ever. But really cool to see those American hops in a style that was, dominated by kind of British style malts, and it was only 4.5%. So they've kind of taken the cream ale with their Eastern Carolina Classic and taken a great spin on that. Same with the pub ale, traditional style, where it's kind of new to me again. So that was really neat to sit down and do that. I wish I had 20 more, but that's why it's my best beer of the week. I say that every time because it's great. All right, so we did it, John. We finally drank. Celebration. I am going to have a few more after this. And if you haven't grabbed this year's version, here's your excuse to do it, but you didn't really need that. I'm sure you were curious already. It's probably already in your fridge, or you've had us in your check-ins. Great. Keep doing that. Do we have any plans next week, John? Are we kind of flying by the seat of our pants? What's happening next? Oh, that's what's happening next.
I thought we were done. Next week, another very special episode of Drinking Socially.
But
no clues as Harrison and I still unpack the map of Charlie strings strung up on the boards we keep at our houses where we do our planning. But it's getting colder. It's getting darker. ABVs are getting higher, maybe. Maybe that's just me, but I think next week's going to be a lot of fun, and the rest of tonight is going to be a lot of celebration.
That's right. So keep it going. Until then, cheers! Cheers! Huzzah!